Hello everyone, welcome to the 140 Q&A test. Plaintiff attorney is Mrs. MRS period Patrick, Patrick. Defense attorney is Mr. Yaron, Yaron. Again, plaintiff attorney Mrs. MRS period Patrick, Patrick. Defense is Mr. Yaron, Yaron. And this is going to start with plaintiff attorney questioning. Okay, here we go. Ready? You lived there? The first week I was to be there so they could go on vacation to take care of the children. And after that, Carrie asked me to stay until I got my rig. I live in a motorhome now, and I left on the 7th of November of 2009, and I had gone out to the home. It was either August 31st or September 1st of that same year. I believe it was 9 weeks. In June of 2009, you were retired. Is that correct? Or you had just retired. Is that correct? Yes. You had some problems, if I understand correctly, getting your retirement benefits paid and sort of had a cash flow problem at that time. Is that correct? No, sir, it is not correct. You didn't need to borrow any money from... No, I did not. Did they ever give you any money during that period of time? I believe a previous loan to pay off hospital bills, but Carrie Haim was repaid at that time. How much was that? $2,200 or $2,300. And when was that debt or obligation incurred, or when did you loan that money that was for? The hospital had been calling Carrie at home for payment. She would refer them to Mr. Haim, and he was trying to negotiate the bill down. May I approach, Your Honor? Yes. I'll show you what I've marked as exhibit number 20. You can turn that page over there. Can you describe that briefly for me? That is a copy of an exhibit I don't have, counsel. Uh-huh. What is that? It's repayment of the loan that I had made to them to pay off. What is that document that's there? A check to me in the amount of $2,300 signed by Carrie. If you can turn it over on the back, is that your signature? Yes, it is. And turn it back over on the front and tell us the date. July 15th, 2009. No further questions. Anything further? Yes. Now, in regard to this check that you've just been shown, you specifically recall that this was a repayment of a loan you had made to the Haims. Is that correct? That's correct. And do you specifically recall that that loan had been made for hospital care for Melody? That's correct. It was the charges that were over and above what, I believe, the insurance paid, and it was for both Carrie's care and Melody's. In other words, the birth. Okay, now while you lived with Mr. and Mrs. Haim, did you contribute to groceries and that sort of thing financially? I bought groceries. I bought food that was brought in from takeout places. I didn't feel I owed them anything since they had lived with me for 5 months, twice prior, their whole family. Now, while they lived with you, did they contribute to groceries? They purchased the groceries and paid the utilities in the '09 instance. In the, I don't remember the year that they were with me before. It was just the three of them at that time. I believe they paid their own groceries at that time. I do not remember if they paid the utilities or not. Now, when you stayed with the Hames, did you park your RV in the driveway? After I got my RV, I would park in the driveway while I either babysat or visited for a day or two or holiday. Okay, did you also leave some of your personal belongings at the Hames home when you... Yes, I did. When you retired? Yes. Do you recall specifically what some of those items were? Your Honor, relevancy as to this issue. What is the relevancy? Your Honor, it's not particularly relevant to this issue, but it is relevant to the property distribution. I can recall the witness when we get to that issue if you'd like to. We're not going to do property issues, counsel. We have issues concerning the gazebo and support and attorney fees. What property distribution are you talking about? Well, there's some differences regarding distribution of property, but if you don't want to get to it today, counsel, I'm trying to be as patient as I can in this case. If I have to, I'll appoint a referee and appoint both people to advance the costs. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to be reasonable. Now let's move on with this witness. If you've got a problem with the difference of division of property, let's bid it out. I don't know what your problem is, but we'll talk about it in just a minute. Let's finish with this witness. There's no more questions for this witness, if that's the case, Your Honor. Anything, Mr. Anderson? No questions, Your Honor. Thank you for coming in, ma'am. On this issue, any further witnesses? No, not on this issue. I'd like to call Mr. Hames briefly. Mr. Hames, raise your right hand, sir. Actually, he's been sworn. Go ahead. Okay. We have a small word list. Okay, so we've got Carey Haim, capital C-A-R-E-Y, Haim, capital H-A-I-M, Melody, capital M-E-L-O-D-Y, and then the court refers to the attorney as Mr. Anderson, so I'm going to give you that, but it's really a mistake. But as a reporter, you're writing everything that anyone says. So even though it's a mistake, you still write it, okay? So Mr. Anderson is going to be capital A-N-D-E-R-S-O-N. And that is it for the word list, and that concludes our 140 Q&A test. Good luck.